Welcome to the Barbados Today morning news update for Thursday, October the 5th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top stories at this hour, the state-run Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation and the Barbados Workers Union have reached agreement over increments for staff. Following some 10 hours of talks that ran late into the night, under the chairmanship of the Acting Minister of Labour, Senator Harry Husbands, BWU General Secretary Tony Moore reported to waiting journalists at the Pine St. Michael studios that the CBC had conceded to the position the union had been advancing all along.
The parties came together, and at the point where the minister recognized that the CBC was willing to accept the position that we had been advancing all along, and with the press statement that you have, you would recognize the general manager has acknowledged that there was an agreement, that the failure of CBC to honor that agreement led to the workers walking off the job last Wednesday. So the workers were off the job for 7 days, and now efforts are being made not to defend the corporation's position, but efforts will be made over the next 24 hours or so by the CBC to come back to report how they plan to honor the agreement that was reached since mid-August.
6 years after being sentenced to 6 concurrent life terms for killing 6 young women in the Campus Trendz fire on Tudor Street, the city, Ronaldo Anderson Allen's challenge against his sentence was yesterday dismissed by the Court of Appeal. In delivering the judgment on behalf of a 3-member panel of appellate judges, President of the Court, Madam Justice Sandra Mason, ordered the 28-year-old to continue on with his life sentences without any reduction of time for good behavior. Justice Mason said that having been satisfied that the sentences imposed are neither wrong in principle, manifestly excessive, or disproportionate, the appeal is dismissed and the sentences affirmed. Based on the evidence presented in the case, Allen and an accomplice, Jamar Dwayne Bino, who was convicted last year, entered Campus Trendz boutique on Friday, September 3, 2010, sometime around 7 p.m. And while Bino, who was brandishing a knife, demanded money from the cash till, Allen reportedly threw 2 Molotov cocktails, one into the clothing store and the other by the door, causing the business place to go up in flames. Students of Princess Margaret Secondary School have been thrown into distress following the death of fellow pupil Hananiah Reeves in a road accident on Tuesday evening. Reeves was struck by a car driven by 59-year-old David Ash of Thorpe St. James as he disembarked a minibus and was attempting to cross the road in front of the minibus. Deputy Principal of Princess Margaret Secondary, Robin Douglas, said the students were traumatized and had to undergo counseling.
There was an indiscreet video being circulated of the little boy in his injured state. And so they had the unfortunate luck of having that be the way they found out. It was very, very, very terrible, actually.
The Barbados National Union of Fisherfolk Organization is calling on Barbadians to join it in reaching out to the hurricane-ravaged Dominica. Barnufo President Vernell Nichols said it is extending the offer of assistance to locals and non-fishing organizations who want to send relief supplies to Dominica. Nichols said Barnufo has 8 boats to take cargo and 2 on standby should more be needed. The scheduled date for shipping out is October the 11th at 11 a.m. from the shallow draft, but items may be dropped off at the Building 3 Pelican Industrial Estate.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for what here, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling. But no thanks. We just advertise in Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Mom, are you still there? Oh, she put it down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. The government of the People's Republic of China is donating US $2.5 million to the relief efforts in Barbuda. Premier of the State Council of the People's Republic of China, Li Keqiang, in a letter to the Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown, said he was shocked to learn of Hurricane Irma's devastation of Barbuda.
The Chinese leader is of the belief that under the powerful leadership of Prime Minister the Honorable Gaston Brown, the government and people can rebuild Barbuda soon. It is with this in mind that his government has agreed to donate 2.5 million United States dollars to the Barbuda relief effort. In making the donation, the Chinese government said it stands side by side with the government and people of Antigua and Barbuda during this difficult period.
On the global front, U.S. President Donald Trump says America is a nation in mourning and that in the depths of horror, the country will always find hope. He was addressing a crowd and media after meeting police and medical staff in Las Vegas following Monday's massacre in which a gunman killed 59 and 525 were injured at a country music concert.
In the depths of horror, we will always find hope in the men and women who risk their lives for ours. The mass murder that took place on Sunday night fills America's heart with grief. America is truly a nation in mourning. I visited the hospital earlier today, where many victims are still recovering from their wounds, and we ask God to ease their suffering and to speed their healing. We pray for the recovery of the injured and those injured officers who so bravely threw themselves into danger when duty called.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. Now, we are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.